Welcome to Play by Play Sports, man. This is your host, Marlo Smith. I'm here to do an interesting video. My show is about sports, college football in general. I'm thinking about maybe, in the future doing some NFL content. But as of today, I want to talk about none other than former LSU Tiger Greg Brooks. Played safety. The guy was an excellent football player. But thank you guys for tuning in to the show. The purpose of my show is to motivate people to break down college football teams, break down individual players, and freshmen as well, and how they're going to impact, some of the most powerful football programs in college football during this upcoming football season. But I'm going to take this episode to just talk about Greg Brooks Jr., who is an amazing person who's endured a lot. I remember him from his days of playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks. But from 2019 to 2023, Greg Brooks Jr. recorded a total of 174 tackles, 6 interceptions, 13 PBUs throughout his career. Greg Brooks started his career at Arkansas, as most of us know, from 2019 to 2022, transferred to LSU, where he played from 2022 to 2024. He had his best season at LSU, totaling 63 tackles. I think he had 2 interceptions. The kid was all over the football field for the LSU Tigers, and he was destined to have a long NFL career. From my opinion, I believe Greg Brooks, my opinion, I think if he would have kept playing, this guy could have went mid to late first round or early second, no later than second round. Very, very talented football player. But not only that, he is a really good person still to this day. But if you all have watched the episode of The Pivot, I think it was probably like 3 weeks ago, maybe, could be a little shorter. But if you haven't watched that video of The Pivot, you need to go back and check it out with Ryan Clark and Greg Brooks' father. I mean, it was a really impactful show. And to see where Greg Brooks Jr. is now compared to when I saw him playing football, knocking people's head off, I mean, all over the football field, remind me of Bob Sanders for the Indianapolis Colts. The guy was all over the football field, man. I'm telling you, very talented football player, good person overall. And for some reason, I missed the episode when it dropped, but I actually saw it on YouTube, this screenshot, and the thumbnail. So I made sure I saved the video and got back to it, and I actually watched it. And I tell you what, that video really impacted my life, and to help me get back into the mindset of never giving up, continue to fight no matter what, no matter what the circumstances are, because we all go through battles in life, no matter what they may be. And to see where this man came from, and he said a few things that really brought me out of my situation, because I think Ryan Clark asked him if he still watched football. And he said yes, but he said when he watched football, he always say, that's supposed to be me. That's supposed to be what I'm doing. He played with Jay Daniels, who played for the Washington Commanders, Malik Neighbors, who all have went on to finish their first year in the NFL. And Ryan Clark asked him a very important question. And he said, what keeps him going? And Greg Brooks said, a lot of people invested in him. They sacrificed a lot of things to be there for him, to help him continue to push forward and to have a better life. So he said that motivates him. So that's why he can't quit. Even during the circumstances and the things that he is going through, he said that he cannot quit because of what others have done to get him to this place where he's at now in his life. And that is a big, big motivational piece for anybody out there who's dealing with something in life, because we all think we can carry on when we're hurting. We want to be strong. We don't want to show weakness. We'll continue to go on about our day and act like nothing's wrong. But when he said he can't let people down, and he has to he's just grateful for life, to be living. Do you not realize how powerful that is? Because I went through something, and that's why I say this is a sports show. Greg Brooks Jr. is a former athlete, and it brought light into my situation because I was a business owner in the trucking business, the dump truck business. I started that thing from the ground up. I left several jobs, and I told my wife, man, I got to figure this out. Didn't matter how much they paid me. It didn't matter. At that time, money didn't even matter. It was God was fulfilling something in me to step out on faith and to do something outside of my comfort zone. Just like now, I'm not new to YouTube. I made partner with YouTube in the past. And but a lot of things came upon during that time with my trucking business. I was the best at it. I've stepped out on faith. I built that business. My wife was all in. She supported me, and I became great at it. You understand me? I became great in that field. Didn't go to school for business, none of that. I just stepped out on faith and I ran into it. And I went through some things, dealing with the pandemic. I kept my business running strong, worked extra hard, no matter what obstacle was put in place. And I went through the inflation where diesel prices was through the roof, materials, parts, and trying to get your dump truck out of the shop when they was holding on to your trucks forever and a day, costing you mad money, missing out on weeks of work. But I ended up having to shut my business down. And I tell you what, in order to be able to save my business, keep some of the money, to be able to pay people off and leave in good standards, which was a tough thing to do because it's amazing how people show their true colors when you do everything, you pay them on time, and you show their business support. And then the minute something goes wrong in your business, you really see how people are. But I eventually ended up having to shut my business down. And my wife told me, man, there were times I endured a lot. I cried to myself when nobody else was looking. That's when I really broke down because my wife told me one thing that was really, it was helpful, but I still in my own mind couldn't get out of my own way in order to push forward and understand sometimes things happen and God has a better plan. Sometimes what we think is good for us, sometimes it's good for us for a time period, but God has something greater. But my wife told me, baby, sometimes being a man means knowing when you got to let some things go, because some things carry a heavy burden that can destroy your own life, that can destroy you. And not only you, just your family. It can bring unwanted energy, negative energy at that in person into your household. So when she said that, it helped for a little bit. But one thing I learned how to hide my feelings. I kept pushing. I took a little time off work to spend time with my children. go on field trips and do things. But I couldn't find the strength to understand what was God trying to do. I questioned God. I blamed God. I just couldn't see why somebody that worked so hard, didn't step on any toes, didn't treat nobody bad, stepped out on faith, manifested everything that he wanted to do for that business into fruition. And it came. So I was in a deep, dark place. I drank bottles and bottles of liquor. It didn't matter. It didn't have to be a name brand. I used to drink whatever I had in the house. And then I went to the cheap stuff. And I drink, and I still went day by day handling my business as if nothing was wrong. Nobody could tell by looking at me, but I was deteriorating on the inside. And matter of fact, a guy that subscribed to me on my channel went through the same thing in the trucking business. And he followed my channel. And me and him had a personal connection. But we would email each other. And he would tell me how my channel helped him through the sports. But we also spoke about his business and how he lost his wife because the business went down. And I encouraged that brother all the way through. And he found another relationship that was blessed by God. And I was just in a dark place, drinking so much, just out in the world, just fumbling around, couldn't pick myself up to do anything, and just wallowing in misery. And it still took a couple of weeks. I cut the drinking out a while back, but I was still beating myself up saying, how did I go from this place to here? And I was still blessed. Beautiful home, beautiful wife, beautiful children, blessed with material, but I don't care nothing about none of that. I'm not a materialistic person, but I'm always grateful for the things that I have. Because me and my wife both work so hard. But I was still going through things. And I told my wife, I said, why? Why somebody who speaks power into other people, even when I'm going through my things, I still encourage other people to be the best that they can be. When they tell me their situations, I'm always instilling growth and empowerment in them, even when I'm going through my struggles. And I asked my wife one day, I just was out of it, and we were talking, and I told her, I said, man, I'm struggling still with how somebody who encourages and empowers and do everything to the best of his ability to live the righteous life, and I lose my business after so many years of running it, building great relationships, and I couldn't figure it out. And my wife was like, maybe you should talk to somebody, baby. And out of the blue, I get this video from the Pivot, and I started watching it. And to hear this young man's story, which I watched him play. I watched Greg Brooks Jr. play from Arkansas to LSU. And this guy was a beast on the field. But to hear him say, I can't give up. I have to keep fighting because other people have invested in his life. And I thought about myself. I said, wow, to hear him say that, seeing this man as a physical specimen on the football field to now, being in his wheelchair, and which we know God has the final say on all things. I believe that this young man is going to walk again and walk down that aisle and get married and still be able to go out here and walk across the stage and motivate other people who are going through these things throughout the world. And we have to start telling these stories. And not only that, tell your story. It's the testimony for other people to be empowered for things to come. You may not be going through something now, but guess what? Life is going to life. And it has a way of showing up when you least expect it. Showing up when you feel like you're at your best. Showing up when you feel like you're at your best. it will show up. Trust and believe it's going to show up. But to hear him say, I have to keep fighting, that alone, hearing Greg Brooks say that, pulled me out of my misery. My wife was there encouraging me, and it just seemed like I was still struggling because I told my wife, feel like I let y'all down. My wife said, let who down? She said, you didn't let me down. She said, how many people can say they've done that? Stepped out on faith, went and built not just anything, a trucking business. Doing something I never thought I could do. And I walked into it. And she was right there, saw it step by step. She said, you didn't let me down. You couldn't control the circumstances and the things that happened. But I fought a really, really good fight to the end. But to hear that young man say, I have to keep fighting for the people who've been there, brought me out ASAP. And I want to make this video to let him know. So whoever watch this video and is in contact with this man, share this video to Greg Brooks Jr. If you know his email, his phone number, his family, whatever it may be, share this video because I want that young man to know that he helped change my life in a matter of seconds just by watching the video he did. The show he did with Ryan Clark on the pivot. It empowered me again. It broke down strongholds that was holding me down, that was keeping me from being creative and stepping back out there into the world that I know I can dominate, to give my wife and my children everything they deserve, which they already have everything. They have a loving father, a loving mother. My 17-year-old is getting ready to graduate in another year, already taking college classes. But sometimes darkness will block out all the wonderful things that are going on around you and try to swallow you. And you never see the winning, the victory in your life. But hearing that young man, Greg Brooks Jr. say, he has to keep fighting. And to say when he watched football, he always say, that was me. Those days of him playing are pretty much done, but it's okay. But that young man wants to walk down that aisle. Not only that, be able to tell his story standing on 2 feet. That is empowerment because we all are going through it at some point in life. But I want you to know, Greg Brooks Jr., you inspired me. You broke the mold that was around me, that was hindering me. I'm inspired again to create content because I've always wanted to talk sports, and I've made partner with YouTube before, and I'm going to do it again. But I couldn't get up. I've started several sports shows after All the Way Live Sports, the one that blew up. But I kept doing it, but I couldn't fight. I kept starting and stopping. I couldn't even push myself to do anything. But as I sit here today, I'm motivated to not only partner with YouTube again, but to build my daughter and my son's clothing line and to do some amazing things. But I want that young man to know his story has broken the mold that was around me to now motivate me to do what I need to do because he said a few words. I cannot quit. I have to keep fighting. Sometimes we're so broken, even though we know these things, we're so broken on some of the things that we think we failed at in life, which failures are just opportunity to keep going and to develop to be better. Failures are lessons. The greatest asset is in the failure. Everybody see you when you winning or when they think you winning. But the testimony, the failure ain't nothing but a testimony to tell somebody about how they can come out of their funk when they going through it. That's God's. Your testimony is just God's message. It's another notch in God's book. Your testimony is there to help other people. So if we're not telling our story, we cheating God. We cheating God because we're not telling people how we actually got back to a certain place from failure or being defeated. We got there because we endured, or we took somebody else's story and somebody else's story, that testimony woke us up. Sometimes your own family can't even bring you to the place that you need to go. Even though we hear them and we feel it, but we don't always hold the cards to our own future or our life. Somebody else holds that card. It may be a family member, but it may be somebody that tunes into your show or somebody whose show you watch. So make sure y'all, if anybody know this guy, this young man, Greg Brooks Jr., or anybody in his family, but share this channel so this man knows that that what he has gone through in life was not in vain. What he's dealing with is not in vain. God is using this young man to heal a lot of people, because today in this world, with all this foolishness going on, there's some people out there that need to hear this story and need to be healed. So this young man is a blessing from the Most High God. And that video need to be Ryan Clark's The Pivot with Fred Taylor and Shannon. They need the Channing Crowder. That video need to be shared around the world. And I need this video to be shared to Greg Brooks Jr., just so he knows that he helped heal somebody else just by the words that he spoke. And my name is Marlo Smith. I'm the host of Play by Play Sports. So I have other content coming up. I'm breaking down other college football teams from the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC. And if you have a favorite team out there, HBCU, whatever, I'll break them down too and give y'all some good intakes on these football programs. But I'm the host of this show, Marlo Smith, Play by Play Sports. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share this channel. Like, subscribe, and share this channel. Make sure you send this channel around, because I want Greg Brooks Jr. to know that he helped heal me and my family. And I definitely wanted him to know he is blessed, and we will continue to pray for him. And he definitely will walk down that aisle to get married to that young woman who's standing by his side. But God is going to show some wonderful work in this young man. Follow this man and keep on empowering this brother, as well as other people around the world who are struggling. Some of y'all who may watch this video may be going through something. No, you too can endure to the end. That's what the Bible said. We have to endure to the end. But sometimes we need a little bit of assistance. But this is going to be one of the top sports shows around. I'm starting from the bottom, coming back up again. Like I said before, Play by Play Sports. This is your host, Marlo Smith, and I'm out. Peace.